Hi and welcome back to my channel. So exciting! I'm really good at these dramatic entrances. Been practicing a lot. Today, I have been thinking... I'm very proud of myself. I have been thinking, guys, wow, what an accomplishment. I've been thinking about what I should film a YouTube video on because, you know me, procrastination. So let's go. It'll be an adventure. Also, that's my inspiration juice. So I've been thinking about, I guess just like newness. Just in general. For me, sometimes I'm a little bit afraid of new things. New challenges, new situations, new contexts because I'm like, well, I know that I can do well in this context and like, I don't know, like I've learned how to relate to God in a certain way and in a certain season, doing certain things in certain ways. And I'm like a little bit afraid to be asked to move on to something else. I'm just like worried about something new. I'm just afraid that it won't be as good as what was behind me. And so sometimes I want to stay in one place or keep experiencing God in this one way and I don't want to branch out because I know that I like this. Like I know this is good. Actually it's kind of like when I go to a coffee shop. Actually, this is a brilliant analogy. When I go, there's a list of the flavors and I know hypothetically that all of them are very good, but I know that I have tried one of them and it is my favorite, and it happens to be hazelnut. And so I know I want a hazelnut latte. Now, the other stuff may be good, and it is good. Like, I know in my head it's good, but I also know with my taste buds that hazelnut is good, and I know that I really like hazelnut. And what if it's my favorite? What if the other ones don't live up to that expectation? And so I'm a little bit content to just always order a hazelnut latte instead of trying other flavors. And sometimes I will be adventurous, but in general, I know what I want, and I kind of stick with that. Because in my mind, there's this little what if. Like, what if I get this thing and I'm tasting it and I'm like, the hazelnut one was a lot better. I should have spent my money on that because coffee is expensive, okay? So I feel like it's a little bit like that with God for me. Like I know hypothetically that it's really good. All the ways that he calls me to experience him are going to be good. It's just that, I don't know. I know what I like and I know I've experienced him in ways and I know that it's good. I don't know, I like find my way that I like to experience him and I want to stay with that. And sometimes he wants to call me out and try something new. And sometimes that worries me a little bit. Sometimes I like want things to be the same. There are kind of two ways that comes into play in my life that I could think of. One is in difficult situations, the way that he comforts me, and then two is just being pulled into the secret place with him and having a really intimate experience with him. And so for the second one, I was just thinking more about it and it was kind of making me think of the Chronicles of Narnia. What the professor is saying to the children at the end, he's like, I wouldn't try to get back into Narnia through the wardrobe. That door is closed. You had your adventure in there, but I think that you're going to go back. And don't try, like it'll happen when you least expect it. And so for me that was kind of an encouragement of sometimes I like try to force things to happen. I'm like, I want to experience God. Well, how have I experienced him in the past? I did this and this, like I listened to this song in like this certain context, or like I prayed this certain prayer and that got me into this really close space with him. Like that was the gateway into this world where it's just me and him, this beautiful world that he has me to discover. Like that was the doorway. And so I'm like, let's go back and like recreate that because you can totally manipulate your spiritual life like that, right? If you do everything exactly the same way again, it should work. Like that's how math works. Like if you add 2 and 4 it makes 6 every single time. I don't know why I thought of that one, but yes, every single time if you add 2 and 4 it's going to make 6. But sometimes like God wants me to experience him in new ways and I need to not try to manipulate that as much as possible and just be willing to wait for him to call to me. And then it's really nice like expecting new ways instead of always just trying to hang on to the old ways and trying to experience him in the old ways, because he has new and better things for me. And when I'm not trying to work it out myself and trying to always experience him the same way and like do the same things every time, that does not work. Then I'm a lot more alert to his presence and I'm listening a lot more for his voice when he's calling me, because I never know what on earth is going to call me into that secret place with him. Like I never know where I'm going to find the door. But then it's like a huge, giant, exciting game of hide and seek because I'm always looking for the ways that he's inviting me in to experience him. And I think that's better than, always trying to get in the same way and have the same experience, because honestly, in my heart of hearts, I don't want that. I want new things. I want to get to experience him in new ways and learn so much more about him. And I know that he is faithful and true and he will always be there for me. Like, if I'm seeking him, I'm going to find him. He is going to be faithful in those ways. When he's calling me into new things, like, he's going to show me new stuff. The last thing that I discovered isn't the last thing there is to discover about him. Like, that's not where it's going to stop. That's not where my adventure is going to end. Like, there's always more. And so instead of hanging on to what was in the past, being like, well, what if that's the best that there is? Like, what if that's all I'm going to get? I need to try to experience that over and over. Being like, no, God, there's so much more of you. And I'm so ready to move on and like learn new places in your heart. And it kind of applies the same way in like experiencing him in my suffering or in the ways that he's healed me, like the beautiful things that he's done for me or like revelations that he's brought into my heart. When I find myself in the same situation again, sometimes I want him to do the same thing for me. Or if he blessed me a certain way, I'll be like, oh yeah, God, could you please do that again? That was really good. That's what I need right now. Because I've tasted and seen that that was good and it helped me last time. And I'm like, well, that's obviously the answer for this time too, right? 2 and 4 make 6 every single time. And sometimes he has new things for me and he has new blessings that he wants to shower on me instead of me just hanging on to the old. And so I want to be open to those new experiences and say, no, God, how do you want to come and comfort me right now? How do you want to help me? How do you want to show you in new ways to me, instead of being like, well, it'd be so amazing if you would just do it exactly like you did it last time. That was perfect. Can you just please repeat that? Instead, like, being open to new experiences and new adventures with him. That's a Bible verse that I really liked. The one, I don't know what, it's somewhere in Psalms, I think. Don't quote me on that. Go find it. But it's like, your mercies are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And I really liked that. It was like, oh, a lot of times I think about it as being like a new chance. Every morning it's like, okay, whatever happened another day is behind me, and now this is a new opportunity to just breathe again and start over with God. And he's forgiven me for my mistakes in the past because I've repented of what happened yesterday, and now we can move on and just try again. As many times as it takes, he gives me new grace every morning. And that is true. But then I also kind of interpret it a little bit as like his mercies are new every morning. And that should be so exciting to me, like getting to wake up every morning and experience his mercy in a new way. Like, I want that. I want to always be experiencing, I don't know, different mercies every day, because they're all so good. And he knows what I need in every moment. And so instead of trying to hang on to the old, I want to be really open to the ways that he's loving me. And especially if I'm like, God, would you please do it in this certain way that it's happened in exactly the way in the past? And I'm so focused on asking for that and being like, God, where is that? I'm looking for that. Then I might completely miss his mercy to me in this moment when he wanted to show it to me in something new and beautiful, what I actually needed to experience in that moment. And I don't want to miss that. Like, I don't want to miss any of his love and any of his grace to me, any of his blessings. I want to be looking for them. And it's a little bit harder when you don't know what to look for, but at least that way my eyes are so much more open. I'm so much more alert. I am seeking and searching so much more, because I don't know what I'm looking for. I never know when I'm going to find him and how he's going to reveal himself to me. Yeah, it's a lot easier to do that when I'm not so focused on finding him in exactly the same places that I found him before. I feel like when little kids play hide and seek, that's kind of how it is. It's like you hide in one place, and then when you start a new game, that's the first place they're gonna look for you. But you're hiding in a new place. The game would be over too fast then. That is no fun. But yeah, so those are my thoughts about newness. So yeah, like being willing to step into new seasons in my life and believe that God's going to be faithful to keep showing himself to me and keep growing me nearer to him and growing me in my faith, instead of being like, well, but like it was good back here. Can't we please just like stay here and never leave? This is a good land. But he likes to move us on and call us further up and further in, and I want to be open to that. I want to be open to more of him and new ways to experience him, because I really truly do want that. I want him to call me up into newness of life. So that is all that I have for today. That was a weird accent. I don't know what happened there. Do I ever know what's happening with me? No, I don't. So yes. Oh my goodness, I'm doing it again. What's wrong with me? Okay. I need my inspiration juice again. Maybe that will inspire me to be a normal person. Thank you for watching, and goodbye until more interesting things happen.